Newcastle fans, I want to hear your opinions in the comments. Are you Bruce out? Are you Bruce in? I want to know why. My dad is famously Bruce in. Do you want to give your reasoning why?
Well, okay, so I'll go back to this question. This is a really good point. Newcastle, where are they in the league? Is it 14th or 15th?
15th, yeah.
So Newcastle, let's go back to the...
Go on.
So they're 15th in the league. Now, if you look at the value of their squad, which is 241 million quid,
yeah,
I think you'll find that they're about 14th or 15th in terms of value of squad. And I know, again, it's not a very sexy thing to do, to look at the money side of things. But the point is, in football, in the Premier League, the two most wealthy sides are Liverpool and Man City. And they're the guys who get first and second. So in some ways, Bruce is not underperforming. Now, Newcastle fans are throwing bottles at the screen right now. But in some ways, Steve Bruce is not underperforming.
Someone in the comments just said that we're a European team without Bruce.
They're not. You're not, though. You're not. You look at that squad, 241 million quid. European teams have got a squad worth 500 or 600 million. Arsenal's squad is worth 505 million. Your squad is worth 241 million. Yeah? If Mike Ashley had spent another 300 million pounds of his money, then maybe you've got European. You've not got a European squad.
No way.
Now, a lot of people have said we've got the players. We've got the players like Joe Linton's a 40 million pound player. No. You paid 40 million for him. He's not a 40 million pound player.
So
Theo, just to finish off my point, based upon the resources, I look at that Newcastle squad and I think that is a team that should finish 14th or 15th.
Okay, if you think you're a European team,
you're not.
Andy Carroll is not European. I mean, the guy's 32 and he barely plays because he's injury prone.
Yeah.
Kraft is not European.
I mean,
the Longstaff brothers are not European standard.
I mean,
Almiron barely scores. He's not European. Most of this team isn't. I can't think of a player that screams to me,
yeah,
oh, he could do a job in Europa League.
Yeah, honestly, you don't.
Maybe Saint Maximin, but he's injured or he's got COVID and he's affected by can't play. Maybe Callum Wilson. He can't do it all if he don't get the produce, and he's not getting it at the moment. He's not scoring. Maybe John Joe Shelby if he had a really good ball-winning midfielder next to him, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
This is not a European team. However, Andy Carroll.
A point that some Newcastle fans will make is that a lot of these signings, Steve Bruce, was behind, agreed to them. Okay, to some extent, I think Joe Linton came in while Bruce was there. Is that correct, or did?
Yeah.
So I take that point, but overall, Steve Bruce isn't Pep Guardiola. I accept that. But there again, Newcastle as they are at the moment, with the owner you've got, with the squad that you've got, you're not going to get a Pep. So who do you want as manager? If you sack Steve Bruce tomorrow, who do you get?
Yeah.
And how do they do better? How do they take you from 15th to 8th? And tell me, I'd love to know.
Yeah.
But as a neutral, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for Steve Bruce because the expectations are ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Jake's saying they've spent money and they play dreadful football. Well, you haven't spent that much money. You look at the players. Okay, Callum Wilson spent 20 million quid. Sorry, cost 20 million quid. Without Callum Wilson, you're in the relegation zone. Let me tell you that. So you say you've spent money. Tell me who you bought. You spent 40 million on Joe Linton. Most people would say you got mugged off there. So if you want to blame that on Steve Bruce, I don't know. I don't know the story behind the Joe Linton signing. Yeah. If Steve Bruce was begging for Joe Linton, then you've got a fair point. Hold my hands up, But I look at the other players. Yeah, you spent money on Jamal Lewis. 15 million quid from Norwich.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that doesn't take you to Europe. Who have you spent money on?
Right.
Who are the players in that Newcastle squad who are UEFA League standard? I'm watching the Newcastle players and I'm shocked.
Bruce has to go. Listen,
they're just
you can't even blame money anymore, Dad. They are not playing for the shirt. The manager has to go. They've lost the motivation to fight for them.
Yeah.
Zane, thanks for a third donation. You're a legend.
This is an interesting debate. Okay. That move there, you look at the Newcastle players and what they did or what they didn't do. Shelby was jogging. It was appalling. It was quite appalling at any level of football. Yeah. That was quite shocking if you watch that goal again.
Yeah.
Simple and a disgrace. Is that the fault of the players or is that the fault of the manager? Now, the manager should coach them. But that was so basic and so bad. Is that Steve Bruce's fault? Is that the players' fault?
Yeah.
Is that Steve Bruce's fault because he's lost the players?
Interesting.
If I was Steve Bruce, forget the money for a minute. I would think, I don't want this job. I don't want this abuse. I don't want this team. I don't want this owner. I don't want this job. That's how I'd feel if I was Steve Bruce. Theo, you know what that reminded me of? That's like when you've got dads against lads and the lads are 10 or 11. And the dads think they're, Wayne Rooney in his prime.
Yeah.
And they score a goal. And they're like, we just scored a goal at the season. You just scored against Newcastle. You just scored against 11-year-olds.
You're calling Newcastle.
I'm making that comparison because that's what it reminded me of there. It was appalling. That was quite shocking.
Yeah.
Not just defending, because defending starts with the attack.